of our people. We're talking about New Yams Festival in the southeast of Nigeria. And we have someone in the studio that will help us and explain the nitty-gritty involved in New Yam festivals in the southeast. He is a chartered accountant. He is also a fellow of the ethical leadership at University of Nigeria. He's also a political stalwart. Chief Ben Etiaba. Good morning, Chief Ben.
Good morning, Chigi. Good morning, George. I'm really delighted to be here.
It's our pleasure, actually. It's our pleasure to have you sit here. Good morning.
It's something else to pull me out of going to my usual Sunday service.
Oh.
But it's okay, God.
But this is still God's work.
Of course,
definitely.
It's for humanity, so
Absolutely.
I can get away with it.
All right, sir. So we're going to talk about New Yam Festival. I know you're like a library of information, history. So, but before we go to the Yam Festival, let's talk about the Ibo Nation. At what point did Igbos become a nation? At first, they were a tribe. But what was it that happened? What was the paradigm shift that transformed them from being just a people, just a tribe, to becoming a nation? So when you talk about the people of Israel being a nation, we talk about the Igbos being a nation. So please just take us through that development.
Thank you very much. First of all, I appreciate the compliment in saying that I'm a compendium of information.
Yes, you are.
I'm not sure I'll deceive myself in thinking that I'm
anything less.
No. I indeed have quite a lot of people I look up to who are more knowledgeable about these subject matters. Just that I take an interest in anything to do with our people. I take an interest in humanities. I take an interest in advancing the cause of our people, because we are a very, very much embattled tribe, and nobody will help us but ourselves. If we have to survive, and if we have to do well and live up to our potential, then we'll have the gift within us to actualize that and achieve that. And if you're being chased, rather than run, you can stand up and not just fight, but ensure that you stand your ground and don't hurt anybody. I've never believed in oppressing anybody or showing that we're better than any tribe. Certainly we're not better than any tribe, we're just different. That's the way I see no tribe is better. Okay, regarding being a nation, what does it mean to attain nationhood? What does it mean to be a nation? We're just people that believe in the same things, that see things the same way, that have the best interest of our people. Collectively, we're working together for a shared vision. That's what it is. And when people say Nigeria is a country and not a nation, that is because we've never subscribed to any ideals. We've never subscribed as a people to any vision. You find different tribes pulling different ways for different reasons. And for us, we know, just like you mentioned, the Jews, that we are embattled. Historically has been like that. And I appreciate the fact that we work hard. I appreciate the fact that we're gifted in so many ways. We have different gifts, and every tribe will have their own, but definitely I'm here to talk about the Igbo people. We have different gifts for which we must remain thankful to God for. So being a nation, as you describe it, it's not something that has just happened now. Maybe we're choosing better words to describe ourselves, and not that anything significant has happened to us except our history. That's the significant thing that has happened. What happened to us during the coup, the counter coup, the pogrom, the civil war, post-civil war Nigeria. Here we are today after many years of military rule and democracy. This present dispensation that started in 1999. We know, of course, that we've been sort of shouting about marginalization, discrimination, and of course we're not the only ones also shouting. Every tribe will tend to say that if they want to gain attention, but you and I know that some people shout wolf, cry wolf where there's none, but we have good reasons to think that Nigeria should really understand that for us all to achieve and live up to the potential of this great nation, the right of every citizen should be guaranteed. Nobody is more Nigerian or should be more Nigerian than the other, And when we have elections, we're voting along tribal lines, and it doesn't matter if things are getting right or getting wrong. So long as our person is there, we're happy and we're suffering and smiling. Those are not the things that make a nation thrive. We need to build a better nation in Nigeria. For us in Igbo land, and the Igbo land is beyond the 5 states of the southeast. But for us, we have this shared vision and shared prosperity, a destiny, common destiny of a people wanting to achieve the best for themselves and then for Nigeria as a country in general.
All right.
Thank you.
I know you're itching to ask a question.
Yes.
I know you are, but I have this follow-up question. There's this local cliche that's been making the rounds for quite some time, that Iwe,
Yes.
meaning that the Igbo tribe doesn't have a leader
Yeah.
of some sort. What are your thoughts on that, given the fact that you've just alluded to the fact that Igbos are bound by a singular vision, a singular ideology, and things like that? So how does this, relate?
Okay, Ibo is nothing that should shock anybody or surprise anyone, because that's actually part of why we thrive. The Igbos, we say, and others say that too, that we're Republicans. And that means that we're not, sort of feudalistic in our makeup. There is no one person that will lay down the law and we all sort of fall in line. It just doesn't happen. We think. We've been gifted with different thinking faculties, and we make use of it. And that's because we do that independently. We're very objective in our outlook, in the way we take our decisions, and in the way we revere. I'm not saying we disrespect our leaders. We have leaders. But what we're saying is that there is no laid down law that one man says something or woman says something and everybody will, all of a sudden, your brains won't work anymore. You follow what he says. And you've seen that in many other places of the world, not just in Nigeria, where you have the great I don't know what to call the name to use, not to be seem to be disrespectful or to ridicule any group or tribe, where one man will say something and everybody will bow and your wish is our command. It just doesn't happen like that in Igbo land. We think, and because we think, we're able to be more creative, we're able to achieve more. But where we need to work on, if you ask me, it's not our individual successes, but the group.
The collective.
Collective must be made to be more cohesive and to ensure that we achieve more collectively. Because in terms of individual successes, you have many reasons and many examples to give. But where you have to come together and achieve as a group, we're still being individualistic about the things we do, more materialistic about the things we do, but we need to be less materialistic and less altruistic to look out for what you can do for the next person and not just what you can achieve and attract from the next person.
The Onyang principle.
Exactly. That's what it should be. But unfortunately, we're still, maybe because of the experience of the Civil War, with all of a sudden money is now our God. That's the other negative thing. And we're all out to get as much as we can of that lucre that is hard to come by. And in doing that, we forget the collective and the fact that we need to make the society work better than it is working at the moment, not just for us. I mean, there's no point in having all the wealth in the world and you see your neighbors living in penury. What are you achieving? How much can you consume?
Good question.
So these are the things that we need to think more about, be more philosophical about what we do and how we go about it.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would now like to ask that, how can you bring about this collective power? What are the ways we can use in bringing people to, see that we should be more collective than individualistic? Okay,
advocacy. You see, the sort of thing I'm doing now, people wonder why I talk a lot. I've been doing so much media work, but that's the decision I took. For personal reasons, and I think, maybe there's a reason behind your heightened media presence. No, but I've just noticed there's a gap. That people are not need more orientation about what we should be about, where we should be headed. I'm not the only one doing it. So many others are doing it and doing it even better than I'm doing it. But the way to go about it is to make sure we have enough people thinking the way I do. You don't have to wait to get an office, to occupy an office, to win an election, to become a leader. Be a leader anywhere you are. Be a leader here, in any sphere, and begin to, sort of ensure that your philosophy trickles down, the right philosophy, about this thing we're talking about, trickles down to, the people around you, and you may be surprised to know that one or two will pick it up and do the same thing. And by the time we replicate that, we find that we're changing society. That's how society. But you see, One man cannot do it alone. So it's a collective thing. It goes back to that collectivity that we're talking about in terms of building a people. So I advocate that. And of course, you will always have people who will stand out in that sphere. And people will begin to notice. And that's where we're headed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I recognize.
Oh, you made me alive because
Yeah.
Okay, I recognize that this advocacy could be some sort of top down approach, and I also recognize that it's also important to take a bottom up approach. Now, currently, history has been taken out of schools. Our kids no longer, go through history classes. Don't you think is let me scratch that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think history should be brought back? Because you started mentioning, civil war, post-civil war, the stages and the phases that Igbo Nation had to go through. Our kids don't know that. What do you think is the way forward, given the fact that history has been taken out of the classroom?
It's actually a shame that has happened. And I can't tell at what point that happened to us. People who don't know where they've been, where they're coming from, will never find out where they should be headed, where they're headed. It's as simple as that. There's no reason not to let the kids know our history. And you find now that in various homes, kids are being brainwashed and told the wrong things. And this is also leading to part of the problem we have in Nigeria today, where a stereotype story has been sold to some people, and they believe it, and they hate people they shouldn't hate. They hate people that ordinarily should be their friends and work together to achieve, greater good. So it just goes without saying that history is needed. History, if it is being taught and is the wrong one, can be challenged. But I'll end where I started in this segment, that if you don't know where you're coming from, you will never get to your destination. You'll never live up to your full potential. So it's a sad indictment on the education sector in Nigeria, that whoever took that decision. And of course, I'm sure they took the decision for political reasons, not for educational reasons.
How can we even begin to correct this?
You see, in Africa, and sometimes when I want to say something about Nigeria, I talk about Africa, so that I'm not seen to be attacking anybody.
Yes.
In Africa, leadership is everything. Pretty much most things that happen.
Everything rises and falls on leadership.
And I'll say this to you, and our people fail to understand this. We fail to understand that leadership comes before commerce. Yes, leadership drives everything, drives commerce, drives the economy, drives policies, It doesn't matter who you are, how wealthy you are. One government policy can wipe out your wealth in seconds. So our people, we don't think, we're talking about leadership, trying to select leaders, elections, and they're not interested because their containers are landing at the wharf. They're more interested in clearing it. They're not interested in who should lead. It is time for us to begin to understand that, going back to what I said earlier, individual success is wonderful, but the collective one is where we need to work harder at and to improve. Because if you fail to do that, it is going to definitely rebound on you and people you know, and people you may also know.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But then again, how does this affect? Of course, it does affect the politics end as well. You see that the Igbos currently are not at the top positions of leadership in the country. How do you think we can still manage that situation again and bringing people to politics? And we had a guest one time and he said that we need more good people there and more good people to insist. How can the Igbo people tap into this as well?
Okay, you see, when it comes to leadership, if you ask me, I'm not even interested if an Igbo man is president of Nigeria. Believe me, I'm not interested in that. I just want the best man or woman to be there. Because if you have the right people there, definitely the place will work better. You and I will benefit from it. It just doesn't matter. But if you keep insisting that your own person should be there, I don't care if it's the Igbo man insisting that the Igbo man or woman should be there, or if it's the Yoruba man doing the same, or the Hausa or Fulani or doing the same. To me, these are very myopic ways of looking at life, looking at leadership, looking at the way our country should be headed. Take away the tribal sentiment. Let us have the right people there, and all of us will do well. And of course, the Igbo man will always be very competitive. Okay, given a level playing field, he will always survive. So whether or not we achieve that number one position is neither here nor there, but we want to ensure that whoever is there is the right person for the many, and not the right person for the few, for his tribe, or his friends, or his family.
Yes. So given your experience, the political escapades, what do you think can be done to bring, Igbo leaders of thoughts, politicians, businessmen, what can be done to bring them to a table to discuss these things, to see how we can instill that spirit of Yang and Amanya in the Igbo, tribe and landscape?
Leadership. Leadership is everything.
So where do we start from? Where was the first
Yes,
two or three
see,
steps? What do we need to do?
Okay, we talked about sort of leadership being everything.
Yes.
If you look at, and we say Nigeria is not working, okay, if Nigeria is not working, how come Enugu State, Anambra State, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi, how come we're not doing as better as we should be doing, or as good as we should be doing? Okay, everything must not sort of be blamed at the center. The man at the top is not doing well and all that. What about the people in their various regions? What are they doing? Recall that during the First Republic,
Yes.
the regions were doing very well.
Yes.
In fact, the center was much weaker at that time. Why can we? Okay, what I'm saying now will probably lead us to the next one, restructuring and all that, changing the constitution. Why can we not go back to an era, or go back to what we had?
You mean
in
parliamentary
that area? It doesn't have to be parliamentary. It doesn't have to be parliamentary, but just weaken the center a bit so that the regions can be stronger, the states can be stronger. Okay, if we can do that, let all the states and all the regions develop at their own pace. If you look at democracy we've borrowed now, it's like
but Chief,
imported.
Would the presidential system allow for that arrangement to happen?
The presidential system is actually a very expensive system to run.
It is.
The parliamentary system that we had before was much better. But even the presidential system we have borrowed from America, we have borrowed the worst, we've copied the worst parts of it and forgotten that in the states, for instance, various states develop at their own rates. The development
in America?
Yes, in
That's
America.
true.
The development you have in New York state, for instance, cannot be the same as in Arkansas,
Sure.
okay,
Sure.
or in Washington State, okay. These are various states with various capacities and different natural resources and productivity capacity. So, but in Nigeria, it's all a consumption-led leadership we have, where everything is taken to the center and carved up to the various states based on the skewed local government and census figures allocated by the people with the vested interest. This cannot help us.
True.
I know this is a national television, so I'll cut down the vernacular. But if you're holding a man or woman down, you're holding yourself down, because that woman, the moment you get up, they'll get up. So the only way to suppress them is to hold them down, and by doing that, you're keeping yourself down. So we must change our attitude and move from this consumption-led leadership style economy to a production-led one, because unless we can produce, Nigeria can never work economically.
Okay, so I would now like to ask, I want to get your take on the local government autonomy and how it's being played out right now, with some governors saying, oh no, we still want this allocation to be given to us. What do you think is the best? Should local governments get their own autonomy as well?
The Constitution has said that. National Assembly pronounced that. The Supreme Court has also pronounced that. But you find that some governors in some states are now going to their local states houses of assembly to create sham laws, which they know will not stand the test of time. But they are hoping that by the time you go to Supreme Court to upturn it, they would have had access to all the monies, while this is going on.
Yes.
And it shows you there's something wrong. It shows you there's something wrong. You can never develop a nation, develop anywhere, without developing the grassroots. The major development in any country happens at that local government level. Okay? For as long as you're stifling them of funds, you're taking their funds and not allowing them to use the funds for
the development of the people.
We'll still be where we are, chasing shadows.
All right.
Honestly.
All right, Chief. the Enugu State Yam Festival that just happened yesterday. You received the organizers, and you said, I think I saw that in your Twitter on your Twitter handle that you endorsed this festival. Tell us, how was the experience for you?
Honestly, it was. I did a post this morning. I'm yet to tweet on
Okay.
it, to X.
Excellent. Oh, so you do tweet?
Yes, I do.
You're a very
And,
young soul.
I am 61.
Oh, good.
But I think I'm probably 21. Still.
Oh, good.
I like them.
Impressive.
I have my kids and I, sort of level with them. They're my friends.
That's
They're not
right.
my children. They're my
Great.
friends, and we discuss as friends. And I try to have younger friends too. And I mentor a lot of young ones. So that way, the reason why I have a lot of young people around me is to remain young. That's not to say there's anything wrong with being old, but the fact that I'm old is a given. I've earned it. I've lived for.
Who says you're old?
Yeah, I am.
I didn't say
But
that.
the white hair is not decoration.
No, if you look at mine, you see
Yes.
some white
So,
strands.
and
Doesn't mean
you'll never get somebody like me dyeing my hair. I mean, why would I be dyeing my hair? It's a privilege.
It is.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing it.
Yes,
If you want to look young, that's fine. I don't have any reason not to sort of show that I'm 61.
Yeah.
But the fact is this, going back to your question, yesterday was awesome. Yesterday was awesome. To me, kudos to Enugu State government because they, sort of really took full part in it. The deputy governor was there, the commissioner was there, all the top people were there,
Yeah, sure.
and they ensured that the Igbo came out. Kudos to this thing. It's nothing to me. This has nothing to do with government. It had everything to. It was a private thing, partnership with the government, and I'm really happy the government came in and stepped up and stepped in and to make sure it was a success. I was surprised. I honestly was very surprised when I saw the magnitude of what these guys put up. The young ones did very well, trying to bring in our tradition, our culture, and mixing it with the modern, the pop culture, Afrobeats, so that you had people like me earlier in the day and at night when we were gone. And
They did their thing.
They were tired. They did their thing at night with the pop concerts and all that. I would like to see this taken beyond Enugu State. When they came to see me, wonderful, it happened in Enugu and must happen in Enugu every year. Good. Can they take it to
And they export it.
first to Umahia, to Abakaliki, to Oka, to Owerri, okay, to Abuja, to Lagos, and export it? But you know what? You know the good news? They don't really have to export it. Because our greatest strengths as a people, as a tribe now, is our people in diaspora. Okay?
How is that?
Oh, we have many people abroad. It helps our economy. The monies they send, they remit for welfare and for consumption, for production from abroad, the dollars. And
Do we have data on the numbers?
We are not good at data in Nigeria, but we have estimates. Okay? We're not good at data, but we have estimates. Some estimate telling you that we have as much as 20 billion.
Annually?
Yes, annually coming
Wow.
into Nigeria. And you know what that means?
Wow.
Believe me, of that 20 billion, at least 50% will end up in the southeast. Because our people
Yes,
are the ones mostly abroad.
yes.
Okay. You see, we have a great population, huge population, but we can't all live in the southeast because we have a small landmass. And thank God, like the Jews, we've chosen to export ourselves to various countries of the world. There, we are now marrying the citizens of those nations. Sort of our culture is now being imbibed. You have white people speaking more Igbo than
Yes,
children.
yes.
Most of us here now.
True.
true.
Very
And
true.
learning the culture, knowing what EDG is. EDG is AYG, what it means, a New Yam Festival, what Opaka is, Manu is, and all that. You see them on social media showcasing that, speaking Igbo. Our people will remain our greatest exports for various reasons.
So let's talk about the organizers of the New Yam Festival in Enugu.
The ones in Enugu, you're more interested in Enugu. My answer is more global. I like that. But I'm happy you're asking because the Enugu one was a major success. They came to me, and what will surprise you was that the two guys that came to me to see me about the New Yam Festival, none of them was from Enugu State. One was from Anambra, the other one from Abia. Yes,
But they are comfortable in Enugu.
Oh, Enugu is the headquarters of the Ibo man, of the Ibo Nation.
Wow.
Maybe your history didn't tell you that. I see myself as a son and I'm born and raised a son of
I
Enugu.
love that.
Enugu. I studied here. I went to Nike Grammar School, just right next door to your studio here. Okay? I studied here. And I lived in England for 25 years. I had my children there. And when I chose to come back to Nigeria, I chose Enugu State. I chose Enugu, not Enugu State. I chose Enugu City, the cool city of Enugu. For the simple reason that emotionally I'm attached to Enugu. Because a lot of people see what I do and how I promote Enugu as a city. And they wonder if I have a second wife, secret second wife who is from Enugu State.
That we don't know.
Exactly. So that's why I'm thinking, no, it's not that. Enugu is my place. When I go to my hometown, Nnewi now, you find that we're digressing a little bit, but this is very important.
That's all right.
That's all right. Go to Nnewi, you've heard about Iba boy.
Yes,
Iba
the
boy.
apprenticeship.
Yes, it started.
I think they study apprenticeship. The Igbo apprenticeship in Harvard.
Yes, exactly. It started in Nnewi market, okay? But after a while, after the war, people started saying Nnewi people were not studying; they were all business trading at night. What's the massive market? In fact, to an Nnewi person, any day, you have to leave that day. You have to go to a market to know what was going on in the world.
So it was just
now you have social media.
It was the politics.
Everything was in Unkwa. Everything happened in Unkwa. But after a while, our people stopped going for boy stuff, and you now had people from Enugu State, Nsukka, all parts of Enugu, and even and from Ebonyi as well. You know what that means now? That if I go to my hometown now, I can hardly afford to buy a plot of land because people from Nsukka are now the new billionaires in Nnewi. All the nice buildings, not all, a lot of the new buildings, nice, sort of in the villages everywhere, all lands bought up by them and being built. And it makes me so happy. Why does it make me happy? I have my land independently out here. Nobody is saying I'm not from Enugu State. I bought it, paid for it, built it, and I live there and I'm very comfortable there. So these guys are also comfortable in Nnewi. That's what it should be. That's the other one, about being a nation. In Igbo land, it should not matter if you're from Enugu in Anambra, if you're from Ebonyi in Abia, if you're from Imo.
I'll drink to that.
Exactly. Let us make sure that we rid ourselves of that mundane, that primitive thinking that Enugu, come on.
This expands to the larger African
Exactly,
states,
exactly.
where I can't, as an African, as a Nigerian, I can't easily, go over to another African state.
Why will you go and live in England and have more rights in England than somebody from Abakaliki having here? Does it make sense to you? No, it doesn't. Those are progressive societies. So with a greater worldview, and I'm happy that we now have a crop of leaders in Igbo land with great worldviews. They understand this better. And they understand that we need to accommodate each other to be able to progress and be as less divisive as possible. After all, the borders are artificial creations.
Artificial creations.
Okay? The states were created by the military. The local governments were mostly created by the military. So why are we killing ourselves when somebody is from a different state to yourself? So it just doesn't make sense to me. But it matters that as a people, as a nation, that you asked about, that we all begin to see ourselves as one and begin to integrate in all manners, in commerce, the economy in general, both our infrastructure, rail networking, our place, in education, in agriculture. Let us look at the place, carve the place up. If Ebonyi has more fertile land for rice, why can we not in agriculture, sort of pull our resources together and get our rice production there? Okay. If yam grows more in Annam anywhere, why can we not do that? Okay. Where we have prevalence of water, why can we not do piggery, fishery and all of that? Just use agriculture to develop the place, to feed our people and to export food like we used to do, okay? And make food cheap.
Yeah.
So we have everything given to us by God, but
we don't know how to harness them.
We're too lazy, carving, sort of going to Abuja, bringing money, dividing the politics. You ask somebody, what do you do for a living?
I'm a politician.
Does it make sense to you? You must have a second address. I have dabbled in politics, okay? But I'm glad when I saw the flyer for this program, you said Ben Etiaba, chartered accountant. Don't be so?
Yes.
I like that. If you had said Ben Etiaba, politician, maybe you wouldn't have seen me here. There's nothing dirty about being a politician. Because if you don't play in that space, others will occupy it. And you will regret it.
True.
What do you think happened in 1999 when this started? Because there had been many false hopes, false dawns, start and stop, stop and start. By 1999, when Absalam Abubakar said he was going to hand over
Interim government too.
when he was going to hand over to a democratically elected government in 1999, when Absalam, after Abacha's death, nobody believed him because there had been many false dawns. So a lot of serious minds did not come up to be counted. They thought it was going to be one of those things. And guess what?
And you think
The people that thought it could work came and occupied that space and are still occupying that space till
and will
today.
refuse to give it up?
They can't. They know the thing is too sweet for them.
Okay, so now I still want to talk about the New Yam Festival. To somebody who is not Igbo, can you tell us the historical significance to it?
Okay, we were talking about agriculture
Yes.
earlier.
And you spoke to agriculture in your manifesto 2021
Yes,
elections.
yes,
you
I
spoke to
did.
agriculture. Yes,
Yes,
you
I did. I was one of those. I was one of the 18 people that contested, including Soludo.
Yes,
Soludo
yes,
emerged,
yes.
Yeah.
and the rest is history. And for me, it was school fees. I went to learn politics.
To learn. You went to
And,
the school.
Yes, exactly. And I'm happy I did that. I didn't at the time. I knew I didn't stand any chance of winning, but I had to see it out to the end. Anyway, that's a different discussion. That's not why we're here. Okay, for the New Yam Festival, to the Igbo man, because land is scarce, we have a small land mass. We revere land. Indeed, our ancestors worshipped land. Okay, as a god.
True.
As a team god. Okay. So land is important, and what do we get out of land? Mostly cultivation, farming, okay, production, and you have the time to plant, the time to nurture, and the time to harvest. Okay, and the New Yam Festival, or Iwaji or Iriji, usually remember it's G. New Yam Festival.
Yam.
It never said New Crop Festival because yam is the king of crops. Remember that, okay? Now, so yam signifies generally, it goes beyond yam, but because the New Yam Festival signifies the end of the farming season, the harvesting, and the enjoyment, appeasing the gods, thanking the gods for a bountiful harvest, and all of that. And it comes with all the pomp and pageantry you'll expect, which is why I say that we have a lot of great culture that we can export. Our people, we've exported already. Once our people are anywhere, they're even practicing our culture more now.
In Germany, although there's
yeah.
a negative undertone to it, there was
Yes.
this some years back
Yes.
where
Yes.
Senator Ekwenemadu went to
Yes.
celebrate New
Yes.
Yam Festival in
Yes.
Germany. So
Yes.
it's been exported already.
Yes. Unfortunately, that was an unfortunate
It was
thing
an
that,
unfortunate
that
event.
happened to
Yes.
Ikepurema.
Yes.
Indeed, he has been a very unfortunate person, because even to me, what he's going through now is very sad, because, imagine yourself as a parent wanting to save the life
your
of
child.
your child. Yes, some people may argue that another life was involved. I don't want to go there because, again, that's not the subject matter here. Because, but I feel bad about, on all sides,
Yes.
both the young chap and
his
the
family
and,
at large.
and the wife. So let that not happen to anyone. We don't wish it on anyone of us. But anyway, that aside, I was in Atlanta in July to deliver a keynote address to Ndin Newi there, and after that we had the IFAC International Festival of Arts and Culture in England, which was not the New Yam Festival. But you see, anywhere you have our culture, anywhere you have our festival, anywhere you have Igbos gathered together, yam plays a major part of it. So yam is the crop, the king of crops, that signifies that yes, we're now eating the yam now, we're now feasting, we are now looking after ourselves. I don't know why, or looking after ourselves after such a hard season. Exactly. So that's what it is. Even for me, as I come from a very humble background. My father was a chief magistrate, and my mother was
a teacher. Let me guess.
Yes, exactly. A head teacher and all that. So my father used to have. Some of you may not have seen yam obaji, yam bands.
I have.
You have,
Yeah.
right? Have you not seen one?
No.
Okay, Josh hasn't seen it. You're lucky to see it. So we had every year our yam band. Our father ensured that we had one. And you see, in the olden days, the bigger your yam band, the
wealthier you're
yes, the
perceived
more
to be.
affluent you're seen to be, because that's it signifies
It's an indicator.
an indicator of that. So every year we ensured our yam band was bigger than last year's one, and we never bought yam for that. We had land, so we farmed. And the other thing that will surprise you was that as kids growing up, 6 of us in my family, 4 boys, 4 straight boys. I was the first, and then 3 other boys. Incidentally, 2 of them are senior advocates of Nigeria today.
Wow.
one is
Amazing.
a publisher in England.
Great.
And myself. And then, of course, we have 2 sisters who are doing great things in diplomacy and in the banking sector. So, in fact, they are doing better than the boys.
Wow.
But my story is this. It's not to shout about my family, but my story is this. Given this background, I can't remember the girls being involved in this. I can't remember Joe Man is one being involved in. But the boys, certainly, every season we helped to plant. We helped to weed. Our father ensured we went to the farms to do the weeding. He was doing that, and we thought he was punishing us because we knew we had,
You didn't have to.
we had workers, we had, aides who could, do that without us. But he ensured we went. I was always leaving my city because I was older, and we did all of that. But he was teaching us hard work. He was teaching us the importance of agriculture. He was teaching us the importance of production. And he was teaching us the importance of being self-reliant in food production. Of course, we didn't produce enough to sell. We produced enough to consume and bought some more. But his ban, yam ban, you never saw any yam that was procured from the market for that. It was always what we were able to do. So we used that to check how well we were doing. If the ban wasn't full, of course, you knew we'd have less harvest this year. And if we're having to put up more sticks and all of that to tidy, it means that it was, and my father would be so proud and so happy. And he brought us up and that taught us hard work.
Yeah.
So when you see me talking non-stop every single day, it's as a result of the hard work, what was put in me when I was young. And my siblings, I'm not alone, even the girls. Like I said, they are doing better than us.
That'll be a subject for another discussion.
Exactly.
Okay, so from what you have mentioned, you have alluded to the fact that yam is the king
Yes,
of crops.
of course, yes.
But then, looking at what's obtainable currently, the Igbos are not known as people who produce yams. Rather, we look up to the north. I mean, how do you reconcile that reality?
You see, that was part of what the Civil War did to us. The coup, in fact, not even the Civil War, because before that coup in 1966, Emayabara took our economy. I keep saying this each time. I'm sounding like a broken record.
It's all right.
Yeah,
A broken record has never killed anybody.
And when I keep saying Emayabara, let's not forget that Zik produced Emayabara too. Okay, let's even use the 10 years from 1954. When I'm sure maybe your mom wasn't born. I'm joking. I'm only joking. I'm not patronizing.
No, you're right.
Okay. So if you look at between 1954 and 1964, and I bring in 1954 to 1960 because Zik still had a play in it. Okay, but from 1960 to 64, it was Emayaba who was now the premier. Zik had gone to the center. But if you think of the fact that by 1964 that we were rated as one of the fastest growing economies of the world, based on what MI was able to do.
Southeastern Nigeria.
Eastern region, not even Southeast.
Eastern, yes, it was Eastern.
Yeah, the South, parts of the South.
They were all Eastern region.
Yes, of course. Now, when you think about the fact that it was majorly agriculture that led to this, what then has happened that we can't even get yam in the Southeast. We're having to bring yam from Makurdi, from Benin. Can you understand that we have leaders who have really checked on their responsibility, if you ask me? There's no reason why that should happen because we traditionally know that we can grow these things. We know we have the right weather, we know we have the right vegetation, we have enough land and enough water. Why are we not doing it? It's not important because, hey, why are you doing it? You're talking about local government autonomy. They want the funds from the local government. So if they're looking for funds from everywhere, why are they worried about going to farm? Because those are trickle down economy. They're not interested.
What can we begin to do?
Because Egombute is more attractive to our leaders now.
What can we do to begin to reverse this trend?
Get the right people in office.
How do we get the system?
The system is already corrupt.
Go and pray to God. And let me tell you this. You know the system is rotten. Politically, electorally. But even within that rotten system, we have seen flashes of great governance. Even till today.
Yes.
Flashes of people who came through that rotten system but are doing wonderful things. And I'm not going to mention names. You know them. Okay? So, whereas you and I cannot change the system, let us hope that the system is able to produce accidentally great leaders who know the importance of legacy and who know that it is more about the people than it is about themselves. Leaders who know that they should lead for the many and not for the few.
Not for the few.
Okay, this is deep. I'm going to replay this. So please, of course, you can go to all of our social media platform and rewatch this again. You can go on YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is, you're going to find this interview there. So I might not be pronouncing this well, but I want you to tell me the importance of this masquerade, Manwu. Yes,
masquerade.
festival in Igbo society.
I think you should get
want
this
to
guy
know.
an Igbo
Please,
one.
by all means, because I love Igbo, I
Josh,
love
where are you
everything.
from?
I'm from Kogi State.
Ah, it's okay.
Yes,
Okay.
but I might.
Yeah, Igala, yeah?
No, I'm
No.
not. I'm Ogori.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
okay.
one of the minor tribes.
Yeah.
Yes, minor tribe. Yes, yes.
Okay. The significance of Hmong.
Hmong.
Yes.
It's Hmong is a spirit. I hope you don't think it's a man. No, it's a spirit, and it comes out of the hole. Like ant.
Yes.
hole.
Yes, the masquerade comes out of the hole. Okay. To perform. The other time I saw a masquerade hugging a girl, asking the girl for her phone number.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, what is it I'm
We're
not
still
getting?
not saying it's a man.
What is it I'm not getting? A masquerade trying to get. What's the masquerade going to get to use the number for?
But then in those days,
Yeah.
the justice system
Yes.
was top notch. You know,
Yes,
when
yes.
these guys were,
Yes.
holding sway.
Yes.
You know, what has happened? What's still their significance?
Okay,
even after
we
we have watered down the the culture.
Yes, we had our religion before the white man came, and things fell apart. Remember
When
what
the
fell
center
apart?
couldn't hold.
Remember what Chere said? The white man came with his religion. At first, we were laughing that he was silly and all of that, and all of a sudden, he has taken hold of our brothers and sisters, and things are no longer the same. Okay, and that's exactly what has happened. We had our religion. I'll give you this example. You're a Christian,
I
right?
am.
If you do something that is wrong now, and you're told to swear, and you think you can get away with it, you're a Christian. You believe in the Bible, right?
I do.
Okay, but you know you're wrong.
Yes.
If you're told to go and swear in a shrine, knowing that shrine is going to be active against you, you won't do that.
You wouldn't try.
Okay, but if you're given the Holy Book,
The Bible, you
Happily.
just yes.
can you understand what
Happily.
I'm saying now? So, we have used the religion of the white man for convenience sake. I am a Christian. I'm not advocating that we should be pagans. I'm not at all. I was born a Christian. That's why I'm a Christian. If I was born in a pagan family, I'll probably be worshipping one idol or the other. But that's not important. What you're worshipping is not important. Whether you're a Muslim or a Hindu or a Christian or whatever, animist, to me, no, it doesn't matter. But what matters is what you believe in and what you practice. Okay? Before, because we knew the deities were powerful, they will clear your generations, not even you. We did the right things. Now we know that we'll get away with anything we do because we say we're Christians and we're paying lip service to Christ. We're paying lip service to Christianity and to religion. We behave anyway. We have pastors doing all manner of funny things. Come on. Before, if you were the man worshipping the oracle, the deity, there are things you don't do. You may even not eat whatever a woman cooks. It has to be a man that will cook for you. You may, if you're worshipping the deity, part of the sacrifice might be that you may not see a naked woman in your life. Can you do that, Josh? If you're told you're not going to see a naked woman in your life, will you do that?
Yes, sir.
I believe. So I mean, you can see where I'm headed.
Yes.
Where Christianity is a religion of convenience. It's become convenient for us to say we're Christians. The latest one is that you have to even certify that by saying you're born again. Just to differentiate yourself from. So, to me, being a Christian or being anything else, it's about your personal relationship with your God.
Sure.
Okay? To thyself be true. Be true. And, sort of do the right thing. Treat your neighbor the same way. If you read the Old Testament, you'll find that you probably think, this was written by an Igbo traditional ruler, sort of as if it's describing.
The do's and the don'ts.
Exactly. The same thing we practice. So, all I'm saying is that let us do the right things, either in leadership or in followership. Because we've been talking about our leaders letting us down. One aspect we have not touched on is the followers doing the wrong ones, doing the wrong things.
Sure.
And our followers are not really anything to write home about, just as we're criticizing the leadership.
All right, Chief Ben, let's talk about banditry in the Southeast and how, of course, it has directly impacted on agriculture, but is there a direct impact on the celebration of the New Yam based off of the fact that it has actually taken farmers outside of the farm for fear of being kidnapped or raped or killed or something like that?
You see, banditry will not continue forever. I
I'll
believe,
say amen to that.
no, no, of course, nothing never lasts forever. And I also say that I believe that the banditry you see now is fully sponsored. Fully sponsored. The security agencies will know better. I don't have any access to the security reports. I'm just saying, as a citizen, concerned citizen, what I believe might be happening. I might be wrong, but I strongly believe that. I believe that if we are desirous of getting back to the farms, of improving our economy, of working the days that we normally work and not working those days minus Mondays, that we must sort out this issue of security or insecurity pervading the Southeast, particularly. Why? How can you tell me that in Anambra, for instance, you cannot work on a Monday, but just cross the bridge 300 meters or so, however, across the bridge, everybody's active on a Monday. I mean, does it make sense to you? There is more than we have been told about this thing going on in the Southeast. Our leaders should know because they have access to security reports and they are the ones getting the security votes. They are the ones who should be in positions of solving this problem. And I'm glad I live in Enugu. I'm glad in Enugu now you go about your business on a Monday.
Yeah, kudos to the
Yes.
government of the day.
If the governor here can do it, why can't other governors do it? Okay.
Goes to show that there's more to it.
Yes. So these things are maybe difficult to enforce initially, but by the time a few people get the right dose of their own medicine, then they'll maybe move to the next state where the rules are less enforced and begin to cause havoc there. So I want our governors to come together, know what Mr. A has done that has worked, get it done. Let us get this place safe. Because like you said, who wants his wife to go or mom to go to the farm and be kidnapped or raped or whatever, or if the son or whatever, or the man himself go to, so we must sort out security if we're desirous of improving the economy. But going back to what I said earlier, everything about leadership. Leadership comes before all of these things. Because get the leadership right, the rest will follow.
Everything falls in place.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so now let's talk about how to preserve the Igbo culture, because we're coming into a generation where a lot of people now call them Gen Z. And Gen Z people are people who don't really care much about culture, or just like you said earlier, we also want to make money is now. But how can we preserve this culture? How can we teach the young ones to know about these things? She said something about history not being taught in school again, but how can we preserve our culture?
Okay, what we're doing is a part of it. Okay, what happened yesterday is a major part of it. And why I was very happy with what happened yesterday was that the group, the Gen Zs you were talking about, they were all there. Okay, so and what do you think attracted them to come in there? It wasn't the young. It wasn't to see Igbo. It wasn't to see the deputy governor or the commissioner. They're not interested in all of that. It was the music. So that was where the clever part of what they did, to me, made sense. To use music, to use that's not so to use that which will attract the young
What
ones.
they are familiar with.
Yes,
To introduce
sell
them
it.
into.
If you saw the kids, the young ones there,
No, they were having fun.
they were having fun. They were having fun, but at the same time with a twist.
Yes.
So, these sort of things can work. Okay, constant advocacy, constant orientation. Well, if they don't teach history in school, fine, teach your kids history in your homes.
In your homes.
I did that certainly.
Interesting. Okay, so I know you mentioned that we've been exporting some, and New Yam is one culture that has, maintained, that's been there, has not been able to be wiped out for some very good reasons. So how can we do better? How can we export it more? It can be just like Israel. Israel has, their tourism, their sites, and they use it for, tourist attractions, and they generate funds. How can the Igbo nation generate funds, through New Yam Festival by exporting it more, making it more, well, for lack of a better word, glorious? What can we really do?
Okay, New York Festival is just one of the things we can do as a people to get tourism. By the time you take these things and make it big, for instance, in England, and you have something you call in London, the Notting Hill Gate Carnival. It happens every last Saturday of August of every year. Globally, people pen it down in their calendar to be in London at the end of August to be part of the carnival in London, just like the Rio Carnival in Brazil. Okay, so we can do it in such a way that it will become more fun, bigger, with the conference center coming up, with the hotels coming up, and the hotels we have already. I'm talking about Enugu alone.
Yes.
If you go to Anambra State, you have a beautiful, massive international conference center that will be bequeathed in the state. Yes, not quite finished, but I think by the time it was built, it was 80% finished. I'd like to see it, just like what's going on in Enugu now. I'd like to see that one finished, okay? And even more hotels, because there's no point in having a big conference center if you don't have the hotels to accommodate,
accommodate the visitors.
Exactly. Because when people tell me Enugu has enough hotels, Enugu don't have enough hotels.
Weekends, all hotel rooms.
You can't get a room
You can't get
in
a
any
room.
hotel in Enugu. That's not to say that I'm going to hotels in weekends.
Nobody's
No, we
saying
know,
that.
we know.
Because I live in Enugu. But even when I have guests,
Yes.
and I'm trying to, I had a friend from Norway. Pa came in from Norway with other people. I could not get a hotel for them. All the hotels were filled. That's good hotels. We're all filled
Fully
up.
booked.
Fully booked, completely. He was sure. We kept going round and round. I was calling all my friends. Because do you know the manager of this one? Do you know this one? If they can squeeze out a room here, so I can get a room here and there. We couldn't get hotels. So, and you know why? Whereas we have so many hotels in Enugu, these are small hotels, pockets of hotels with 30 rooms, 50 rooms, 70 rooms. No.
Probably 2 stars.
You need one big hotel with 700 rooms. And if I say, people will scream, how many people will occupy 700 rooms? And when they say that, what I say to them is I know more of what's going on in this town than you do. I know more because I know that people need those hotels, those rooms. Okay? So the moment you have the hotels, then you can begin to attract international conferences. You attract people. I mean, people go to Rwanda for conferences, from London, from Washington, from US, everywhere. So once the right infrastructure is there, security is guaranteed, energy, light is guaranteed, because that's the other one. You cannot build an economy on 500 kVA generators and 25 kVA generators. You can't. That's the other one. But at least get the major things done first. Others will follow. So, but you talk about exporting our culture. I'm telling you that we have already exported our people. And our people, don't you often get videos of what's going on in Germany? You make talk about what's going on in France, what's going on in England. I mean, when I was in England, I felt like, look, I'm all over Nigeria. Igbo. Honestly, the culture is more practiced there. The number of Ndigwe I saw in, I think it was Enfield, it held. Yes, it was Enfield.
Really?
Yes. In fact, our Ndigwe will now leave their domains to go to London to attend the conference and the festivals. Now, the world is now a global village. And what do? Take advantage of that. One little example. Yesterday I did a post. But from today, you'll be following me now.
Yes, I've already followed you.
Okay. Now, I did a post yesterday. And what was I trying to say? That nothing has changed about my life. But all I've done is to take advantage of social media to showcase what I'm doing with ordinary people now, so that other people can now get to know and see all of that. I've not changed who I am. I've always been like this. I've always talked. I've always granted interviews. I've always interacted. I've always taken interest in human beings, in the knowledge of people, and I'm trying to help as much as I can. The only difference is that I'm showcasing it now to everyone using social media because it is cheap.
Yes.
I don't have to pay signature to it. Have I paid you to do that?
No.
No, I don't have to. If it was before, you have to pay
You have to
to
pay
have
to
access
appear,
to places like you pay to be covered in all the daily newspapers and the radio stations. No, the world has changed. You make your money a different way. Okay, because you now have more content. People can advertise, sponsorships can come. But the content, in fact, you should be paying me to do that. I'm joking.
Consider
No
that.
problem.
This is not of my selfless. No, I'm only
Service,
joking.
yeah.
I know that.
But you know the thing. I said this in a jest. I noticed, I lived in England for 25 years,
Yeah,
like
you
I said,
mentioned
but I've
that.
been back for so many years now. In England, people are paid to appear on magazines,
Television networks.
electronic and print media. In Nigeria, it's the opposite. You pay to appear. I couldn't understand it. To me, I just kept scratching my head. Which part
what's
of this am
going
I not
on?
getting?
Yes.
Because these are people giving you content that will enable you make money from
Money.
your advertisers. But
They
It's
have
the
to
other
pay.
way.
yeah, they have to pay to join. Where was it? Somebody wanted to interview me. I said, Chiben, please, you have to, sort of appreciate. I mean, I don't mind that I'm here if I have to ask friends something for breakfast, which you're not getting this morning, by the way, because I don't have, I forgot to come with anything.
No,
But
we
it just doesn't matter. You're not looking at that.
the information
But-
is what's important to
Exactly.
us.
No, no, no. So I just couldn't understand why I'll have to pay to appear on the program. I said, are you kidding? Please, can you drop this call? I'm not interested in that. So the world is now a global village, and we are now moving in the right direction. So things are beginning to work in Nigeria as they'll work anywhere else. We're not silly. Nigerians are not second-class citizens, so we're not subhuman. Indeed, we're first-class, first-rate people. Nigerians, others are looking up to Nigeria and to Nigerians to show the lead globally, both white and black. Okay, so you see us excelling everywhere, and I'm happy. Our culture,
Yes.
our festivals are already exported. Don't wait to. The only thing is that when you have new innovations, like I said, what happened in Enugu yesterday, fine.
Collaborate.
You can brand it, it becomes your own. Trademark it, it becomes your own. You can export that. But the idea can be copied by anyone else, implemented there. But if you have a brand that is strong, why will Burna Boy come out with a track or an album and wins the Grammy? Okay, people believe, apart from anything else you may have heard, people believe it's worth it. He can compete. He can compete globally, beat the best. Okay. Now, the same thing as we were saying, we can package all of these things and sell it to England, sell it to the US, sell it to even to Brazil, and all that. So that's what it is.
All right,
Yeah.
Chief Ben, this has been a wonderful session. I don't even want it to stop. Is it strange? I don't even want it to end.
No, we'll
I'm enjoying
we'll
myself.
continue outside.
Oh, you are enjoying
I'm
yourself.
enjoying
Oh,
myself.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, very quickly before you let you go, you
Yes.
said you mentor the younger ones. Do you
Yes,
have
I
a
do.
platform? Can you tell us about it?
Yes, please.
How does it work?
Okay, what-
Some of us might be interested.
Yeah, no. You say you're following me now.
Definitely.
Okay. I won't say that I've been trying to build a brand. That would be pompous of me or arrogant of me to say that. No, but I have quite a huge following, and these things have an incremental effect. For years, quietly, I don't make noise about it. That's why you've not heard about it, apart from the ones that I know. Yes, over the years in Enugu, I've mentored a lot of young ones who are gone on to do great things globally now. I mean, I have people from Canada still calling me to say, thank you, sir, for one or two things you did that made me change my vision and my thought process and led me to where I am now. It happens all the time. It gives me so much joy to do that. And why does it give me joy? I've been blessed with 3 children, great, wonderful children, all doing well, a girl and 2 boys, doing very, very well. They are independent. They are living in England now, but they know Nigeria. I mean, my son wants to come back. I get his ticket and come back this Christmas. So it makes me happy that he wants to do that. Okay. So I've been lucky to be blessed with 3 kids, all healthy. So what do I now have to give back to society? Is to also do the same thing I've done with my children and even do it better, because the mistakes I made with my kids, I'm
you've
correcting
learned
now
already.
with the ones I'm mentoring. Okay, you don't have to be my child to benefit from whatever it is I have to offer by way of advice. What I can do is write checks. I don't do that because we all have our various gifts. I don't, mind. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not
That's
Dangote.
fine.
I'm not an Ibo or an Inos now.
Even if
And-
you were, I don't think that would be the best
but I'm
way.
not a robber.
to-
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Those are great people with great talents. And I'm not saying that if you're wealthy, you cannot also mentor. They mentor people. These guys, you'll be shocked as to what they do beyond the wealth They go around speaking to people. They bring people in and sort of show them what to do and all of that. I'm not the only one doing it. A lot of people are doing it. So it gives me great joy to live here today, believing that you, Josh,
Yes, sir.
Chigi.
Chigi, that you learned something new from me. And as I live here today, believe it or not, I've learned something new from you too.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
That's
very
what it
much,
is.
Chief.
Even if by the way, by the questions you're asking me, you're now challenging me and my thought process to even begin to understand why I believe in certain things I say. But with me, what you should know is what I say is 100% what I mean, and I try to do.
Absolutely.
I'm not perfect. But I try
Thank
to do.
you very
Absolutely.
much,
Thank you so
Chief
much,
Ben.
Chief.
If we had more time, we would have stayed more. But
That's
this
right.
is where, thank you for so much insight. Again, I would say you can go back to all of our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can find this interview there. You can watch again. You can make your comments, make your suggestions. Of course, we would get it back to him and you'll get your response. This is the much we can take from Chief Ben. Thank you very much again one more
Thank
time
you.
for coming.
Thank you for your time, and
Yes.
I'll always come back any day.
Thank
As long as I'm
you.
in town.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
yes.
Thank you.
So we're going to be going over to entertainment news. Do stay tuned.